All right. Now we can start. Let's see here. Well, hey there, YouTube. So today we are doing a live stream. For those that are not able to join us here at My Place Cafe, we are celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the Diosa Xochiquetzalcoatl's poetry culture celebration. She is the author, yeah. So the 1-year anniversary in particular is for this particular book, A Church of My Own. Whenever I see this book, I always have that song in my head by Hannah and Amagamaguchi, On My Own. And then yesterday, she had a release party at Donali Studios in East LA for Hechizera, Sultry Spells. Hey, where are they? Whatever. So to start us off today, Diosa asked me to read some poems, which I'm like, I'm very honored because usually I'm just hosting and just like announcing who's gonna go up and whatnot. And because of this special celebration, I decided to just write some poems, like just some new stuff. One in particular was after I read Sangria's Inductions from Diosa's Hechizera. And this piece right here that I have is called Sangria Two Ways. That's because actually like them both. Yeah. Let's see, where is it? Up here. Sangria Two Ways. 1. Tiff has sangria senoral when she's with family for lunch or dinner. This carbonated drink has cherry and grape notes with a mildly tart aftertaste. Tiff also drinks it when she's out dining with family at restaurants that carry it. One time, Tiff brought sangria senoral to church for communion for the congregation to try. She had to caution some of them to relax and it's not alcoholic. 2. Tiff has sangria when she's out bar hopping by herself or with friends. Sometimes when Tiff is drinking sangria, she thinks to herself, now that's the real stuff, not that carbonated cherry grape soda. If sangria is at a party she's attending, she doesn't involve that doesn't involve family, she'll have some. One time, Tiff made it herself with Malbec, green apples, oranges, and strawberries. She was pleased with how she whipped them together and also happy there was no cherry notes. So that's that piece right there. Thank you. All right, so the next piece that I wrote, I told somebody about like how I just saw some fire ants like on a sunny day in October, even though it was fall, but usually you see fire ants in the summertime. So I just wanted to like just write an observation of it. So this one is called Fire Ants in Fall. And I thought about reading this piece in particular because I saw Diosa post up like last week about how we should like, take pleasure in seeing like nature in concrete jungles because we're just surrounded by so much concrete here in SoCal. So it's like, whenever you see like just wild bushes and whatnot, it's just always nice to see that around. Fire ants in fall. During autumn, I thought fire ants were gone. Seeing them on sidewalks indicates carryover summer in the sky. When the sun heats up, like a summer heat wave day, fire ants know they can be out and about. Do fire ants feel the air hit different, even though the sun is bright? Just as we feel the morning air hit different before the sun cracks on some autumn days? Yeah. I know, I wish I could have gone a bit more, like as one of my friends says, a bit more eco-critical with that, but I still struggle like trying to incorporate like literary theory and writing. So now, so that's all I got to read for today, because I want to kick it off to the other features that are here, our special appearances. So the first person that's going to come up, let me just go over some quick notes here. So before the first person comes up, I just want to talk about how like throughout the year that A Church of My Own has been out, there was one time that I actually got to go to an open mic, and I saw that Church of My Own was actually available at the cafe that I happened to read at an open mic. So after I read like one of my own pieces, I decided to just read one of the pieces from here, and that piece that I read was The Dwellers, which I thought was actually pretty hilarious. Yeah. So our first person that's coming up today will be Brenda Vaca, with Rite of Roses, I thought that was also an amazing book. I'm glad she was able to read here at my Place Cafe earlier this year with Anne-Marie Wells. And then in the acknowledgement section, when I read that and saw like a lot of names that were mentioned that are here today, that's when I figured that was the best way to kind of like put this event together in terms of like commonality. So in a way, your acknowledgement kind of helped me out in like organizing it. So please welcome Brenda Vaca.
Hi, YouTube. Hello, world. Good to be here celebrating a church of my own and the beautiful writer that you'll be hearing shortly. What up, soul stuff? Good to see you again. And also the birth of Hechizera, which I just left over there, but I'm going to bring it and show it. Because we got to be plugging this book. Hechizera is the second book from Diosa X. And I think I'm pretty sure it's thicker than the last and definitely intense. It's gonna make you sweat. So that's my hardcore plug because I couldn't stop sweating since last night. With that said, I'll go ahead and just jump in. Jesse Tover, thank you so much for organizing us and pulling us together. Diosa, thank you for including this amazing lineup of writers. I will pull something out from my book that is called Rite of Roses. Ooh, tattered copy right here. This is one that I like to read and I haven't read it in a while. So here we go. Spirit guides. My friend Xochitl and I have always talked about things of the spirit. As young mujeres, we'd be cracking codes for play, smoking a bong in her closet. This had become our ritual. Invoking the womb of our mothers, hot box simulating a lodge in the desert, and discovered you can start a fire using water. We dove down deep into childhood reverie. Xochitl taught me how to get down to Tonantzin. Without a loving, trusted beloved, you can't go see what is unseen. Then came our trips to the beach, where we learned to find spirit in the sky, circling above, immediately called them spirit guides. It felt right, and it was holy from day to night. Lord, 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 what are these sights I behold, facing east, south, west, and north? I reconnect with my grandmothers, the ones I never knew in this life, when Xochitl calls the corners. A door was opened and eye to eye, a jungle was I. I felt the great I am running through these veins. I am of the earth and I am of the sky. Oh my, how many times did I die? How many times did spirit bring me, breathe me, stretch me, pull me, free me back to life? My, oh my, these feet can touch the sky. And, you know, everyone's been captivated by the LA City Council occurrences this week and the despicable things that we've been hearing, you know, leaking out. And so I'm gonna dedicate this to this moment. 2 poems I'll read. I like to read these back to back. The first one is called Colorism. They lined us up according to the depth of our melanin. They put a value and a price tag on our skin, stacked us up against other comparable skin tones like real estate. But instead of community developers, they stirred a cocktail of our DNA. Is this a fixer-upper? Is this move-in ready? How strong are the bones of this house? Have the pipes been replaced? Do you have a permit? You're this shade and you're that shade. You're cinnamon and you're dulce de leche. You're honeysuckle morning morenita muy bonita, the steamy sweet spume at the top of a latte. Let's see what it tastes like when you add a dash of vanilla or nutmeg, tasty or tossed out. It all depends on taste buds of nasty marketeers ready to buy blood on credit. The economy is still strong, right? The truth is butterflies come in all colors. The black ones outlined in gold, morning cloak butterfly are among my favorites. The inevitable brown body of a painted lady migrating in droves from the south, sheer beauty. The mighty monarchs multiply among milkweeds who fly along high rises in downtown Los Angeles, take my breath away. You cannot, you will not destroy nature. It will rise, it will regenerate, it will overcome, and you will topple over like a badly built tower in Babel. Make your choice today. The hate you have, pluck it out. It is an insidious cancer. Beg forgiveness for each time you've turned away. I will do the same. Toma, Nuri Martinez. Cabrona. This one is called, I'm sorry. This one is called Cilantro Seeds, and it's a dedication to the color of my mother's skin. My mother's skin, the color of cilantro seeds. My mother who speaks in sonnets. My mother sits across from me, her arms, the color of cilantro seeds, crossed over her pecho. She sits happily enjoying her Sabbath, lambiendo una paleta de fresa, la de leche. She just recorded a video message for my sister. I love how mommy weaves a story, her and papi. Somos artesanas de las letras, dice papi. I find myself constantly quoting them in poems, recording moments with a pen, a text, or an audio message. I like to do this when they're not looking. They think I'm playing with my phone, texting God knows who, but really, I just hit record because you can't make this shit up, I think. They give me such good material, solid gold, much of what they say, colorful and vivid. My mother sits across from me, her hands the color of cilantro seeds. She sorts through las semillas de la hierba del cilantro we harvested earlier in the spring. The green grew bright under the thick nopal, lit up our salsa fresca, woke up our taste buds dulled by years of processed comida. The cilantro gave way to precious white flowers. Dry now, the seeds remained, hard, small, and a particular brown, the color of Mami's piel. It is so evident as she holds seeds in her palm. Ma, your skin is the color of cilantro seeds, digo yo. I see, she says. She smiles and laughs as she sorts through each flower, breathes in the potent fragrance in the smallness of each seed. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Make sure again you buy Hechizera Sultry Spells. Oh, and I think I hit something on your screen. But I think we're still there. Much love. Let me get out of here quick.
No, you're good. Yeah. And this is what I want to fix too, because I saw this on my phone and it's showing two screens here, so I want to fix that. There we are. That should be better. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Brenda, for that. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming out to celebrate Diosa today. So next, the person that's going to come up next, he hosts events like online and in person, like for LA Post Society, and he's hosting stuff right now at PJ's Machine. And earlier this year, we were talking about like, how to like, be a good host and whatnot. And this is like shortly after I like was reading over the acknowledgement section and talking about how like you should kind of put more thought into it and try to have, it's always good to have like a unity or like a common theme and not just throw something random and whatnot. So again, thank you for that advice and stuff. So I really appreciate that. Also, this person that's coming up next, he has a book out through the CLI program called Anatomy of Flame. And also, whenever I've heard him read like online or in person, I've always enjoyed like every time that he's read. He's an awesome poet. So please welcome Mauricio Moreno.
What's up, virtual world? What's up, soul stuff? What's up, everybody? It's good to be here. And I can confirm that her second book is thicker than her first. So I would support both. They are beautiful books. I love big books and I cannot lie. I'm glad everyone understands that reference because that doesn't always hit. Some people are like, so I'm gonna share some pieces. I did spend a little bit too much time last night reading through the book because I wanted to add something to the conversation. And I was actually at Diosa's release last night, so I got to hear some of like the new poetry that she has brought to life, and I felt so empowered. Like I felt like a Chicano, even though I'm not, you know, but I felt that pride of like owning your roots and owning who you are. So in that sense, I'm going to read one about my skin if I can find it. But yes. 44, and this is my book, by the way. Not trying to, I gotta promote myself too, but it's all about Diosa today. So this one's called The Largest Organ. Sun-kissed leather, copper-colored armor, breathing, growing, dying every 4 weeks, enriched with melanin, punctuated in pigments and hair follicles, forged and tempered under the sun and moon, witness to philosophers and scientists. It bears the dreams and hopes of minds that challenge the status quo. This armor of hair and scabs holds the memory of harvests and bounties. This organ grows with the thoughts of a people, the scars of oppression and genocide, the hopes of revolutionaries, working class, the desires of pigments to be judged not by the content of its melanin, but by the sacrifice of its bearers. My skin, with heart-shaped birthmarks and specks of past lives, is filled with the dreams of my roots, the muisca who birthed the seeds of my future. My skin, with tissues of Teflon and strings of steel hair, sway with the songs of my mothers, the songs of the first people. My skin remembers their struggle. My skin honors their sacrifice. My skin bleeds so that my descendants can fulfill their dreams of tomorrow. Thank you. So I'm going to read something about growing up as a Colombian American. And some of the things that we kind of have to go through are, I guess, some inaccuracies or things that are, popularized in media. So this is a response to that. This is called, You Must Know Pablo Escobar. I feel the question coming long before I arrive at this function. Trying to function without losing my control. I tap out commands into my pocket, shift my weight from right to left, hoping not to return to the main frame of understanding people can't seem to see past. Sure enough, as I pay my tab at the bar, the question hits like a tag hashed and gashed onto my chest, copy pasted like someone else's assignment. So what's your background? Both of my parents are from Colombia. Oh, you're Colombian, huh? You must know Pablo Escobar. I try to stifle the anger bubbling up, quiet the argument playing out like a loop. It's on playback without end or beginning. It's a curse without a witch to cast it or a curandero to cure it. Because of the country my parents were born, I am somehow kin to a kingpin. I flash a smile, pretending the words don't cleave me in half and try to change the topic. But what she doesn't know is I do know him. That when I was 7, my mother was in downtown Bogota on a routine bank errand with my uncle until she felt something from the unknown and told her not to park the car in the underground bank garage. What she doesn't know is that my mother was 2 blocks away from the car bomb that killed 15 people. That were it not for her premonition, I'd be another victim of Pablo's war. This person doesn't know this. She only parrots back the tidbits she learns from American news, from novelas that glorify him, from the Netflix shows that humanize him. The constant media reminder that my country, full of rich jungles and Amazonian rainforests with fauna and flora of every shade of color, the most species of birds in the world, with my primos playing football in dirt fields and my abuelos sending coffee beans praying for rain, my abuela sharing chismes as they warm arepas, where strangers and our family and everyone is welcome. This land of emerald beauty and ancient gold, this land of poets and artistas, of Botero, Isaacs, and Gabo, the home of Betty La Fea and La Pola, the resting place of Simon Bolivar, the home of Valderrama and Falcao, of Juanes and Shakira, Fonseca y Vives, the birthplace of cumbia and pacemakers, the Tierra del Encanto, the place I fell in love with every summer before the age of 9. Despite all of our country's treasures, Pablo Escobar steals them all away. The woman waits for my response, whether I'll take this bait she sets, pretending to be edgy, expecting me to congratulate her on her knowledge of my country. But I don't say anything. I take my drink and walk away, the words gripping my throat. My country deserves better. Thank you. Okay, Jesse, how much time? Okay, I will do a long poem. Leave y'all on a hopeful note. I think something that was a common theme in Diosa's poetry was this libertad, this freedom of self, freedom to choose what happiness looks like to you, freedom to, go against what is expected of us. You had a lot of poems about like not being like married and not having to live up to whatever everyone is telling you, society is telling you. So this poem is called Libertad. I first saw freedom from my building's rooftop, nestled between skyscrapers wrapped in milky stars. Her effervescent lips kissed me every night as I plucked at my guitar. She drew me away from hiding, made my memories richer. I followed her to California sunsets and Hong Kong skylines. I studied her from afar and got to know her better, and time showed me her truer colors. 2. Freedom came to us as a fiery flower. She freed our limitations, shattered food chains, and shifted our positions. We used her to cook our food, enhance our weapons. She nurtured us and kept us safe. Her warmth evolved us into humans. But with her fire, freedom brought her twin, for she could not exist without slavery in our midst. And just as we evolved, so too did slavery follow suit. 3. We traded iron shackles for student debts, freedom for our comfort, ball and chains for smartphones, for what is socially acceptable. We substitute our warriors for entrepreneurs and give up our integrity for attention. We switched our plantation owners for corporations. Capitalism's runs on our greed, invading and training death squads disguised as freedom fighters, teaching Afghan boys how to be terrorists. Our modern day slavery is dressed in Louis Vuitton and red bottoms. Opulence, commercialism enslaves us to believe we're not enough. 4. Freedom was never meant to be granted by some benevolent despot, bestowed as a reward for belief in false gods, freeing your mind from the illusion of the chase, the guilt of not hustling harder. When we sever the ropes that oppressors hold us down with, when we stand together, erase our races, when we overcome white noise and turn our souls to higher frequency, we can see the truth all along. Freedom really lies within. Thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you all, and let's give it up for Diosa one more time because it's her.
Yeah, again, thank you. That was amazing as always. Another person that's coming up next, again, they've done stuff together. I think they've worked together in like the still program. They've also hosted stuff for us post society. So again, like this whole thing about commonality, it's like, I don't know, it's like the universe just brought it together like just organically and stuff, right? Yeah. Also, for those that have watched YouTube channel here, you have seen Carl Scott read here at My Place Cafe this year. And then over the summer, one of the band leader of the jazz band that plays here every now and then invited Carl to come and read while they took a break. So that was amazing and that was awesome. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then what else? Oh yeah, and then a signature poem that she has in her book, Love by Salt Trans Bones, I Tell the Land. It makes me think of the women of this land from A Church of My Own. And then what else? I think that's about it. Everyone in the internet knows who Carl Scott is. Actually, I have friends that are like when I brought them to like Sims Poetry Library, they were like, "Oh my God, Carl Scott, so nice to meet you." I think you remember that time, right? Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Well, anyways, please welcome Carl Scott.
Okay, hi. Hi, everybody on the interwebs and in person here. And congratulations, hi, Soul Stuff. Congratulations to Diosa. Oh my goodness. I think you were the first person to come out with a book after we finished CLI, right, from our class? What? I think so. I think you were like the first one because it was like 2 months out of the program and you're like, here's my book. And now a year later, not only are we celebrating your book anniversary, you also have a freaking second book. What? And look, I also like big books. So I'm excited to dig into this. And I'm just excited and inspired that you're just coming out with all this work. And thank you so much for inviting me to read here today. It's really nice to hear Brenda's poetry again, and of course Mauricio's. And so yeah, so I'm gonna read some stuff. And so one of the things that I feel like Diosa always reminds me of is just like really owning my body and owning who I am, and being comfortable in my skin. So I wanted to read some poems that are about my body. I'm also on my period, so I feel like this is definitely very yeah. It's I guess, you know, as we were saying, it's like the universe brought us all here together. So I feel like this is the poem I'm gonna restart off, called "I Love My Body Bloody." Every 28 days, my uterus rises golden burgundy, and rayed clots run down my legs, thick, dark, brave. I shed. I am more spider than woman, an arachnid molting monthly. I am more tulip than human, blooming from the earth, hungry and craving the smell of my cunt. Every 20 days, I love my body bloody, urgent, insistent, overflowing. I am red zebra stripes painted on my thighs, dripping onto my new bathroom floor mat. I am the crisp crimson stains on the bedsheet, soaking into the mattress, a permanent testament to how I am abstract art of oxidized brown splotches. I am the sanguine sun spiraling into hemispheric regeneration. Every 28 days, I love my body bloody, flinging vermilion flecks into the sky, celebrating my menstrual meteor shower, bleeding across the eternal night every 28 days. Thank you. So I'm gonna read this next one. That's also about my body. It's called "Song of My Womb." I enter my womb. It is dark, wet, and warm. It feeds me a cornucopia of pistons, pollen, and nectar. I am its honeybee. Preparing for the egg, it wears a red tuxedo adorned with luscious, nutritious taffeta tissue. I angle my head up to its heaven, greeting the holy twin moons of its fallopian tubes. Inside one moon, a lotus flower floating out of the sky into a bloody lake. I enter my womb. It is dark, wet, and warm. It feeds me a cornucopia of pistils, pollen, and nectar. I am its honeybee. I angle my head up to its heaven, basking in the moon's maroon glow. I am home. I inhale. I am home. I enter my womb. It is dark, wet, and warm. It feeds me a cornucopia of pistils, pollen, and nectar. I am its honeybee. I enter my womb. I am home. I exhale. I am home. My breath hums a lullaby to the moons of my womb. I am home, home in my body. I enter my womb. It is dark, wet, and warm. It feeds me a cornucopia of pistils, pollen, and nectar. I am its honeybee. I am home, home in my body.
Yeah.
Thank you. Again, very happy to be here and celebrating Diosa, and I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. So I guess the other connection that I felt like I've always had with Diosa is also about some of our I guess like more political poems, or things that like question, the status quo. And I think I'm actually gonna read the poem that Jesse mentioned in the beginning, but I'm gonna read this one first. This is actually sort of going into with the flow of menstruation into a little bit of a critique of imperialism. So this is called The Day I Spilled Menstrual Blood All Over the Bathroom Floor at an Altamed Clinic in East Los Angeles. And this is for anyone killed by state violence and or imperialism. I pull out my menstrual cup. Slippery in my fingers, it collapses from the weight of my womb. Flats. The teal tiles below embrace the viscous, watery clumps. The teal tiles welcome red cells twined together like primordial fish or thick tadpoles. Blood scurries down my thighs, a vermilion creek of wounded wisdom painted on the floor like a Jackson Pollock painting or a Rorschach test. What do I see? A moth, a butterfly, my grandmother's face. The egg that made me was in my grandmother's womb and my mother's baby body. The grandmother who would later tell my mother, I have no daughter. Before I was born, I was part of their flesh. Now all of our fleshes lay exposed. I collapsed from the weight of my womb, wiping our intergenerational trauma from the bathroom floor. If only it were so easy. My therapist asks me where I carry my mother's and my grandmother's racism, where their disdain for Indians and Muslims hides in my body, a self-hate burrowing under my skin. I rub crimson from crevices between the tiles, thinking how my father survived Operation Searchlight, wasn't executed by the Pakistani army. In the leftover rivulets of blood, I see people murdered in the Buriganga River, their bodies left to float downstream one by one. I scrub and scrub, but I can't erase history. See history written in the blood spilled on Breonna Taylor's pillow, the blood on the 6 bullets dug deep in Breonna's body, the blood splashed on the headline, the blood on the judge who didn't convict anyone for her murder. I collapsed from the weight of my womb. I see history in the hot blood marching in the streets, chanting their, her, his name. I'm standing in the bathroom in a clinic in East Los Angeles, staring at tiles, hoping I haven't missed any spots. It's taken me 10 minutes to wipe up my blood. That's more time than it took George Floyd to be killed by a cop's knee. I collapsed from the weight of my womb. The blood of imperialism streaked across my face, crusted under my fingernails. Thank you. I just reading that poem, I just reminded about Diosa's poem about the murdered missing Indigenous women that you shared with us at when we were doing workshop, and I just that poem really struck me, and I really always appreciate when people bring up things that are like happening in the world in their poetry and raise awareness on that. So I'm gonna finish off with this piece. I Tell the Land, and I was actually gonna read this before Jesse said anything, because this definitely does remind me of Diosa as well. So it's funny that that you said that too. So I guess the great piece to end on. Okay, I tell the land, you deserve better. You deserve more than leaky pipelines crisscrossing your heart, nuclear reactors spewing atomic waste into your lungs, pesticides seeping into your skin. You deserve more than a species who thinks they need money more than you. Every month I pay rent and enable your theft. I dream of co-ops and no-cost housing, of vegetable gardens and open air free markets. Dear land, how do we evict an empire? How do we fight guns with words and bricks? How do we recover your magic, our bulldozers, GMOs, and aerosols destroyed? I keep writing, searching for the incantation to set you free. I tell you I need more time, but time is running out at the speed of glaciers melting. I press my palms into your dirt, laying my fingers, a holy invocation and prayer. I tell you I see your future, a future of ready to pluck berries, the juices painted on the lips of the people who dared to dream of a land without dollar signs. You breathe. A wind frolics in the tresses of my hair. A leaf taps my shoulder. Rain kisses me. Me and you, we are alive and we deserve more. Yeah. Thank you. And you know, and church of my own. Get all the books by Diosa because they're all amazing. And thank you, everybody. Hi.
Thank you so much, Caro. As always, it's always a pleasure to see you read as well. And I just remembered, it was like a year ago that I saw you read in person for the first time at the Altadena, one of the parks here in Altadena nearby, like for like an event they did or something. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
some festival,
yeah,
yeah.
it was like some festival. I was trying to remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the person that's going to come up next, I'm actually excited to see read today, especially even if it's only digitally, because anytime that I've seen clips of him read, like on Instagram or even on YouTube, it's always astounding, always amazing. Christian Purpose, also known as Soul Stuff, is the author of Play, A Reclamation of Soul. It came out like in late August. And planning this event as well, I was like, this is one thing I just learned of this year is like more and more people were doing 1-year anniversary events of like their books. And this person in particular was like a fixture in some of these events, actually, believe it or not, like Ravina, for one. And what else? They actually both read, so Diosa and Soul Stuff actually read at Proscenioscope earlier this week. And then yesterday, for those that don't know, Brenda Vaca is the host of Friday Fire on Instagram. And Brenda interviewed Soul Stuff. And I watched that interview, and again, like he knows how to like just perform like the happy poems, the funny poems, comedic poems. And then the one I was really impressed by was the one, I guess it's like the last piece in his book, I'm Still Here. Very touching, like that one I felt like, man, it's like you're putting yourself out there for so long and it's like you're still here. There's times where you may want to give up like all this for various reasons. So that I enjoy that piece a lot. And again, like I just said a minute ago, it was definitely like just a no-brainer to have him to be a part of this today. So please welcome Soul Stuff.
Hey, nice to meet you, Jesse, virtually. Yes, thank you for all of your kind words and supporting me. Honestly, I feel like I just came out of a really good, strong class of people. You know, Caro and Diosa, Ravina, who you mentioned as well, and Brenda, like just so many movers and shakers. And so I'm just happy to do the work. Yeah, I just had this book come out, so I'll plug it real quick. It's Play, A Reclamation of Soul. This is what it looks like in the front. This is what it looks like on the back. You can buy it on Amazon and worldstagepress.org. And eventually I'll have it set up through my website. Can you guys hear me okay? I can't actually tell because I can't see anyone or hear anyone. Okay, cool. I don't need to project any louder. All right, great. But yeah, it's great to be back. Also going to be popping up with CLI in 2 days to do a lecture with Hiram about performance. And then actually later this month at the library for this Italian slam poet. It's super duper cool. But anyways, I'm just going to read a few poems in celebration of Diosa's book. I was going to start off with kind of the titular poem of my book, which is Reclamation of Soul. It's the first one in the book, even before you get to the table of contents. And yeah, I'll just pick a few short poems to hear or to read here, and then we'll have our special guest close out the show. But this is called Reclamation of Soul. But why write? Why not be doctor, be lawyer, be guaranteed safe? Your story might not be recorded or remembered, but at least it will be easy to read. The first generation to the second. I do not subscribe to common sense. am uniquely foolish, a two-buck brain wrapped in a whirlwind heart, but my writing is the one thing that I love about me unconditionally. I write to feel unfettered, to turn shackles sharp, make a weapon out of expectation. My stanzas be the song singing the unequivocal joy in my bones, an invisible list of all the fucks I don't give. My poems are prayer, an homage to what and who I believe in. For every mic and everybody who reminds me where I still want to go, these pieces hold pieces of me, a time capsule of what love looked like at different points in my life. Each one a different recipe for feeling alive. Each one keeping me company in my darkest hours and running amok when they meet a pretty pair of eyes. I write to release demons. I write to reintroduce myself as many times as I see fit. I write to remember, and as a reminder, to breathe free. It's so funny because I see Jesse, and Jesse's this is not any sort of negative remark towards you, but I see Jesse, and then every once in a while I hear like Caro or like Diosa's voice in the background. They go, woo! And Jesse's face is just, yeah, hello. Hello, friends. Jesse's face is just there, and it's just funny hearing everyone laugh or applaud in the background and just seeing Jesse. But to all my classmates and cohorts, this is definitely reminiscent of like when we were in class. So it's kind of a throwback. I haven't been doing any virtual readings since stuff opened up again, so it's cool to be back here. And in speaking of cycles and generation, yeah, actually Cara mentioned her own version of a cycle. You know, there was celebration of a book that's been out for a year, and then a new book, right? That new thick book that just came out from Diosa. So I thought I'd share a poem called Cloudbirth, and this is a fun form poem. It's right here, because I took some writing, or I basically made an erasure poem out of a strategy guide from an old Nintendo Power 1990s like cheat code book or strategy book, and I just erased words from that, and then I took like words out of there to form its own poem. So I didn't write anything here. I just kind of like constructed it. It makes you feel like a poem constructor or curator. So this is a erasure poem from the strategy guide for Balloon Fight from like 1999 Nintendo Power. I hope you enjoy. It's called Cloudbirth. You are the sky, the drift in the air, the trip through lightning. You are of all different shapes at different places. I, the moment's delay, the broad-sided blind, no time to control propulsion, colliding with your bounce back, vaporizing on contact. You fly over, pull ripcord, reach innocuous airborne. I rip parachutes for the chance to see you ascend out of abandon, move on to the next thought. You make it worth the bother. Alone, I stay low. Low as possible, make for cautious passage, stick to the clearest. For this adventure, you're the reward above all. And should I end progress with less than you, I reset and start again. Thank you, thank you. Shouts to Caro for having the most distinctive cheer. You always hear it. Also, yes, Caro is a legend. And I'm sorry I didn't get to see them today, but soon I will be back at the library soon. Also, shouts to everyone else there. It's just I keep hearing Caro's voice specifically, and it always makes me chuckle. This is one of my favorites. I don't know if my cohorts have heard this one, but it felt like appropriate for this event and also for Diosa specifically. So I'd like to dedicate this one to Diosa. I wrote this before the book came out because it's in the book. Duh, Christian, that's how linear time works. All right, this one's called This is called My Ancestors Speak Through My Housemate's Cat. Also to all my classmates that are there, this is a homage to our friend Evan, who writes miniature poems in his titles. So this title is an homage to Evan, but the title is called My Ancestors Speak Through My Housemate's Cat. Oh, lowly son, naivete replete. I hope you are treating yourself better. Hope that you are treating me, staying well nourished with the knowledge that you are the product of so much that came before and catalyst for much that is yet to come. Do not look so astonished. 1, it is unbecoming of you. 2, are you not a writer, intrepid explorer of the yet to be imagined? A spiritual possession of your domestic companion should just seem like another Tuesday to you. Besides, you of all people should know that it does not matter what body speaks, but the body of work behind that body. Tell me, how many times have you allowed others to take you for less than you are? How much longer are you willing to let that happen? And where have you been lately? In this corporeal state, my sense of smell is heightened tenfold, and I'd be remiss not to mention that you smell horrendous, as if you bathe in your regrets, curl up amongst outside opinions of what your work should or should not do. It can also be related to diet. What are you feeding yourself? Are you settling for canned context when you are meant for the wild and free? And take a second to consider what you might be allergic to, unless it's me, because then that's your own damn fault. But just like you willingly co-sign this cohabituation, so too do you allow your contemporaries' limited sense of scope to domesticate you. You must learn to uncollar yourself from their expectations. Yes, you may scratch beneath these whiskers, but you must also scratch beyond the surface of what you think you are, of what you think you can be. You cannot pause your reclamation for any longer. The world is your sandbox, so pee on everything. Follow wherever your heart goes. Make up your own timeline, and don't feel obliged to put up with anything or anyone who is not up to your standards. There is still so much to be done for your collective pride, despite the prejudice, and you, someone who can perk ears with their pen, are wasting their time licking their wounds instead of looking for something fresh to sink their teeth into. Don't just loaf around, but don't give yourself grief for resting when you need to. Trust me, you know when you'll feel the urge to zoom. Don't hold back when you do. Some may be confused, but that's not your problem. It's not your job to explain the artistic process to them. It's your job to process their explanations into art. Because my fleshling seed and circumspect successor, though I may have 9 lives to waste away, you have only the one. So the question remains, what are you going to do with it? Oh, thank you. You know, it's funny. That time I think I heard Diosa the most. But Zoom has this funny sound equalizing thing. So it's like whenever Zoom, or I guess, you know, for people watching on stream, whenever it goes above the threshold, it'll cancel all the sound, right? It'll just so you don't like pierce your speakers or whatever, or your headphones. And so it's funny, the last thing I heard was like a yeah, and then it just completely went silent. But I miss everybody there. Hope you guys are all good. Hope to meet you in person soon, Jesse. I know there's a ton of stuff going on, but with these crazy cats and other stuff around, especially next Friday. There's tons of stuff happening next Friday. I know Brenda's got her own event going on, Poetry Brothel's going on. I'm sure there's a million things, but I hope I get to meet you. And shout out once again to Diosa X, crazy, brilliant author. I hope I get to see them in person again soon too. All right. But thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Soul Stuff. That was amazing. Thank you. All right, so now we're gonna call up the woman of the hour. What in the year that I've known that she's had this book, she's always down for readings. When I helped out Spectrum earlier this year with an open mic they did here at the cafe, I decided to call up like an early sign up, and she was one of the first to like sign up right away. So that was awesome. And then when Mary Tumion decided to like maybe bring some like, you know, guest poets for her high school classes, poetry, like reading, she was one of the first that was like down right away. Also, oh yeah, you were there as well. Yeah. And then I'm always happy for her when I see her read in some other coffee shops, like whether it's online or like in real life. And especially like when I saw your book at the other coffee shop, like I knew I just wanted to like read one of your poems just so I can feel more comfortable, because I like every now and then I like to like read other people's poems publicly. I've seen that she's gotten her name out there in like various anthologies such as Praxineoscope, Spectrum, and whatnot. And then yeah, like with this book, like she's made a lot of connections, just put herself out there to network and, you know, meet some very cool people, and that's what poetry is all about. When it comes down to it. So please welcome Diosa.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. It's also, I know that I wasn't going to see you, I would have brought you your little.
No.
I don't promise the candy will make it. Just kidding. I will save it for you. Thank you. So, wow. You know, what I love about poetry is getting to hear these amazing people So, you know, but in her Friday fire is a reflection of her fire, right? And God, you know, that we connect on that bodily, human, feminine energy. I love it. So just, yes. So Mauricio, I hadn't had a chance to hear Soul on Fire a whole lot. But what I heard today, I can't wait to get my hands on the book. So thank you. I am, and Juan, thank you so much for being here. It's been an honor to read with you in other occasions. So, you know, just being surrounded, you know, by amazing people, and even online. So stuff, you know, Christian, you reminded us of, you know, CLI 8, our movers and shakers. Holy cow. Like our class, names are everywhere. And so I'm a chillona and I'm getting all emotional because this is wow. You know, and Jesse here, who just, he's an amazing host, always putting together these fire combinations. And so I'm floored, I'm honored. I can't believe it's been a year. I can't believe I was the first one to publish. Self-published. Even with Hechizera, I'm still considered self-published. I went through editorial raíces, but just as an editor, Maciel is listed as editor, so it was an interesting collaboration, and so here it is, 1 year, year one, 1 year later. So stay tuned because the next one's already cranking out. But anyway, enough of yada yada. Here we go. So, you know, question I get asked now is like, why do I write? And so here's a good answer. My true love. You are my true love. You are my catharsis. You pry open this heart of steel, confronting every emotion I feel, unraveling heavy spools and reels as they bob down and all around, being taken by Piscean ideals. Feel the feels, neither good nor bad, the happy, the grueling, ecstatic, and sad. You, my true love, you are my catharsis, my word, my palabra, my joys and pains in print, truths which provide the world with puzzle pieces and hints, the beautiful syllabic collection of modern Latin glyphs that mean much more than meets the eye, surpassing material gifts. Of all the medicines I carry, you are the most rare, or you solidify the words that appear from plain thin air. You, my true love, you are my catharsis. The day that I may find myself without a single word left will be the same day that I surrender my life over to death. Because you, my true love, you are my catharsis. And, you know, today, I heard a lot of these poems that take us to who we are, remind ourselves and tell the world who we really are. So in the darkness of a new day, I remember who I am. I am the one designated to take you through the underworld, from Middle Earth to Mictlan. I, the one assigned to show you how to confront your shadows, past, present, and future. I, the one appointed to teach you the lesson you never liked. The hard to swallow, bitter tasting, repetitive drills. The one meant to guide you in caring for an Andromedan angel. The one meant to inculcate you on obliging an Aztec queen. The one meant to initiate you in loving an Atlantean goddess. For I am your Akal Guru, your eternal timeless teacher. The stars have stated it as such, and I simply accept my calling. So any special requests? The dwellers, you mentioned it, yes. And so funny that, Brenda said, I have to read these together. With dwellers, it's the same thing. I have to read it together with the sojourners. Yes. The dwellers. You live alone? I have a full house. Who do you live with? My entire entourage. Big family? Humongous. Isn't it crowded? Not at all. How many people? Who said I lived with people? And so now you're wondering, is she the crazy cat lady? No. And so the sojourners, my visitors are unlike yours. Mine like to come at night. They seem to love the living room best, although the roof takes second place. And well, the closets, those come in third. People always question why I live alone. I don't. I have pilgrims in every corner, stopping to rest on my comfy couches before continuing on their journey. As long as they serve the light, all are welcome. So you see, my house guests are quite distinct from the ones you have, and I'm okay with that. Any other? Yes. Thank you. I was right on 94 when you said that. Sister, where art thou? Dedicated to all the murdered and missing Indigenous women, MMIW. According to the Urban Indian Health Institute, murder is the third leading cause of death among American Indian, Alaska Native women. So many reports remain unknown and undisclosed, concealed, unrevealed, and for some, even forbidden. In 1492, they sailed the ocean blue, only to make Taino women the first MMIW. Soon followed the Calusa and so many other tribal women in the Sunshine State of Florida, ironic name for a place violence ridden. Pocahontas, being the first to be acknowledged by her name, was captured in 1613 in their attempt to Christianly maim, sever, destroy, and make disappear as many Indigenous women as did appear. Wounded Knee, Ayotzinapa, Standing Rock, to name a few. Histories of murder and missing Hashtag MMIW. 2020, nothing has changed. Our sisters continue to be vanquished and estranged. Say their names, say their names. Claudia Gomez Gonzalez, 19, in search of a better life, left her home in Guatemala to encounter even greater strife by crossing many man-made borders only to be executed by ICE. Hannah Harris, Northern Cheyenne, single mother of a 10-month-old son, while celebrating the 4th of July, her entire free world became undone. Killed at the hands of God only knows, a murderer still on the run. Her birthday now commemorates sisters' stories left unsung. May 5th is the day we remember and honor all of our murdered and missing. A day where red fills our communities and hopes fill the homes of those still wishing to be successfully reunited, to obtain some kind of closure or justice to be served, or the nightmare to be over. Sacred prayers fill our hearts. Sacred smoke fills our air. No more murdered and missing women. We call an end to this despair. We say, ya basta, we've had enough. We demand authorities to end the cover up. No more violence against the women of this land. It is time to come together and take a united stand. It is time to fight the powers and show how much we care. My beautiful brothers and sisters, do we even dare ask, sister, where art thou? When the answer may finally be free at last, our women are finally free. Free to openly travel our beautiful Turtle Island. Because this land is not your land. This land is our land. From California to Canada, Alaska to the Caribbean islands. Free to walk the streets without having to watch our backs. Free to claim what is rightfully ours. Hashtag land back. Free to love, free to live, free to be Indigenous. Yes. Ooh. Thank you. That one really hit there. Thank you. Ooh. Oh. Any other requests? Okay. No, go ahead.
It'll have us calculate 61.
61.
Is it 61?
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Declaration. 126.
Yes. Because
I know I looked it up.
this, yes. Because as we say in Spanish, en este mundo de todo tenemos. And so as much as we laugh and cry and get angry, we need to feel it all. Declaration.
Sorry.
There you extreme, that's right, roller coaster. Dust it off. Here we go. Declaration. Polyamorous, non-monogamous, snuffle up against what the fuck? congested, oversatiated, polysaturated. That's what's up. Don't need no labels, no tightrope cables, just to get someone's love. Metamours and troubadours got me singing to the Commodores, but there ain't nothing easy about this shit. It's so much easier to walk and call it quits when the secondary always seems to take the hit. Enough of this hierarchical bullshit. I do hereby declare relationship anarchy. To hell with polyamory. Reclaiming my anatomy. Welcome back, solo amory. What's fair is fair. And I don't really care what you think of it. Or you. Because I'm the one that calls the shots in all of my relationships. I do hereby declare. Ooh, thank you, ladies. Any other? Baby boy. Oh yeah. Let me see. Here we go. Baby boy. Page 84. Yeah. Hold on. My muffles are running. Doesn't look good here. All right. Whew. Do not give into the darkness, for you are a beacon of light, meant to be seen far and wide. So don't you dare try to hide in the God-given truth, pretending to be uncouth. Baby boy, you a supernova. Don't you dare forget the tears your mama wept as she brought you down from the star nation in beautiful and powerful representation of our strong and proud Purepecha nation. Little bro, stop the starvation. Feed your soul only good vibration. You got this, man. You got it straight. Don't you dare fall for that ridiculous bait. Sit and wait. Like Creator take the pain and sorrow away. For today is a brand new day. Because baby boy, you were meant to stay in the light with no need to fight against that darkness. All right. Sure. That's my grandma's Doña Pina. La mujer de los quesos. Thank you for one in Spanish here. She's here. All right. Ooh, okay, I have to get into character for this. Se hacen quesos. Oh, sorry, let me start over. All right. Se hacen en el rancho los quesos, que si sí, que si no, que usted se lo perdió. Se entrega sin costo extra a domicilio, ropa rematada y requesón en el pick-up gris del viejo viejón. Se venden cuantas cosas de segunda, según el vecino, según la vecina, según el esposo de Doña Pina. Se parte el lomo en el sobre ruedas, chivas, conejos y qué sé yo, leche fresca desde el Hipólito. Desde Santa Mónica, California, hasta Mexicali, la Carvajal. Cementerio, jardín, descanso, su gran residencia final. Y de todo lo vendido y repartido, lo que nunca se vendió ni repartió, fue ese linaje de Cañadas, Ciudad Obregón. Hija de la nana Chana, esta gran mujer fue mi abuela. Herencia de mujer chingona, que jamás se rinde ni se doblega. Una mujer que sin ninguna duda trabaja y sabía defender la que partía toditito los quesos habidos y por haber, en memoria de la. All right. Okay. And so before we move on to the new baby, I wanted to read one more. I lost one. Come out, wherever you are. Here. Not all Heyokas are the same. I have a new Heyoka now. No, not a devil like you. As I sit and write these lines, the tiny gray spiders crawl out from under the red lava rocks. As I sit and write these lines, the resilient orange and white butterflies flutter overhead. As I sit and write these lines, the female calliope hummingbird suspends a few feet away. The one who migrates back and forth from Mexico to California, the kind icy enough to chase away birds as large as the red-tailed hawks. As I sit and write these lines, the male Phoebe flies toward me, the one that is dressed in black, yet carries purest white snow below, the kind that is widely known to be aggressive against terrestrial predators, coyotes like you. I have a new Heyoka now, and unlike you, he's not a devil. Thank you. A church of my own. Amen. All right. And so, and what I lovingly dub the church's basement. Hechizera, Sultry Spells. And you know, the poems that I read right now were kind of, what's the word, premonitory? They kind of hinted at what was coming, about darkness, about shadows, about underworlds, about Mictlan. And that's what this baby is all about. Facing, embracing our shadows. So, I'll start with the one Jesse referenced. I'm gonna ask the section. Ay, Dios mío. On this cold morning, afternoon, I think it's so perfect because, as Brenda said, you will be sweating. La gota gorda. Mezcal or not, you will be. And so, yes. And so with that said, I'll remind me at the end, I want to read my PSA. There's a PSA in the book. What you want? Oh, I don't know how to count. I'm like, where is it? I'm not good at math or numbers, I'll tell you that. No shame. Sangria's detections. To the vampire king of midnight affairs. You're gonna like this one. You're gonna really like this one. All right, sorry, let me go back. I got too excited here. To the vampire king of midnight affairs, Dip that black magic brush into my crimson coat. Let us splash berry blossoms on the bed. Smear the sheets with sacred stains. Celebrate my scarlet ceremony. Let us toast my vampire king, victim and prey of my sangria's protection. XOXO, your midnight mistress. Yes. I was like, oh, God. I have to read it again? Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's see. Oh, here. The scariest of all. So when I first put this together, it was perfectly numerologically spread out. But publishing is not so easy. And so in the end, in my frustration, because this was a difficult labor, very difficult. And so it didn't come out exactly how I originally planned it, because it was numerologically perfect. This one, on the other hand, is. So there's an epilogue, there's a prologue, there's an epilogue, there's chapter 1, sugar and spice, chapter 2, trucha. But within those chapters, it's full of micro chapters. The micro chapters are perfectly divided in 3 poems each. So 16 mini chapters of 3, plus the prologue and the epilogue. Anyway, so from mini chapter, these ghosts ain't friendly. The scariest of all. Halloween time. To love and be loved is to walk through an abandoned mansion in the middle of a thunderstorm, always haunting, full of ghosts, scary as shit. That's some scary shit, man. Right, you'll. Oh, but let's see. Oh, you know what? I like this one. I finally awakened from that delusion. And this one came from Don't Close Your Eyes. I love the titles. So like I have to read them too. That's the title of the mini chapter. This is the title of the poem. I finally awakened from that delusion. The bed sheets in the trash, the pictures permanently deleted, the coffee mug to pieces I smashed, incinerated red flags not heeded. The book I read to try to understand, a pile of ash in the chimney air. The condoms used up with another man. I've become someone else's Dulcinea. De ti ya no queda nada. You, who? Too much writing this one. Too much fun. Too much fun. You? Huh? Ay. Okay. All right. Una en español. And so from micro chapter, esta noche en la pancha, palabras sabias. En boca cerrada no entran moscas. palabras sabias de los abuelos. Pero yo nací Dionea, Venus atrapa moscas. Soy planta carnívora que devora carne embriagada de mentiras. Mi saliva se desliza suavemente sobre las pieles libidinosas. Entre mis labios se disuelven los cuerpos cadentes de la verdad. So, quick translation. You know how they call man eater? This is like a real version of man eater, not in a good way. FYI. What? Okay, yeah, okay. All right. Okay. Oh, I know this one. Love in the times of quarantine. This is very interesting, you know, to be single in the time of quarantine. To be single all the time, sorry. To be single all the time, and then all of a sudden love appears in quarantine. That was crazy. That was crazy. That wasn't supposed to be anyway. Love in times of quarantine. 'Tis not a great not. Oh, I need to start over again. Sorry. It is not a great love novel. Simply the story of an average Adam and Eve seeking paradise while in its midst. No steamboat anchored downriver, only years of patience, stifled even further by a virus. They both shared a particular relationship with this universe, a cruel sense of humor type. 2020, the greatest epitome of all, the untouchable crown jewel. Hence, leaving them with only these charming chats, daring DMs, and tantalizing texts. In the words of Skip, it forced them to slow down, or absence makes the heart grow fonder. What a draconian lesson. Prolonged sighs, extended urges. Ixtaxiwa is on the brink of eruption. Physical contact is but a dream, and though impossible it may seem. Sueña, Mexicana, sueña. Or in the art of dreaming, all wishes shall be redeemed. Oh, okay. The X Monterage. One second. Diosa X. X her partner. Then Hechizera X, the lying extraordinaire, by exorcising the demons he left behind with the help of her ex, Monterage. All right. Okay. And I'll end with this. So this is a triple entendre on the word or the phrase soul ah. So it's titled Soul Ah, but then there's a reference to a soul ah, and then in Spanish, sola, sola. My solitary is not confinement. Solitude. I, te, tu, sol. Your son, my son, light of the world, the great I am. In my mind's eye, conmigo misma, I am supremely fine. Sola con mi soledad, my soul, my light, soul, sol, sola. Thank you. Thank you, everybody out there. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you to all the readers. Thank you. Oh.
Well, what a celebration, right? These two books, especially this one that's now a year old, and then this one that just came out officially yesterday. What in this particular book right here, when I read Today I Killed a Tarantula, it gave me similar vibes to The Dwellers. That was why I got what you meant. We were saying like there was like a lot of like similarities and stuff like that. And I'm talking about like this is like the church's basement and whatnot, because it's like a lot of more commonalities, more things that is like sequels and whatnot. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. I just want to thank everyone that's watching on YouTube for tuning in today. And then for those that were here in and out today, seeing all the poetry. And that's all I got. And thank you again to all the readers that read for the celebration. And